Hello, YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about and reviewing Sleepaway Camp. So this movie, I meant to do this a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't end up doing it um, just because at the time um, I wasn't really in the mood to do it. Um, so yeah. So this review is long overdue. So um, this movie opens in 1975, and we have a gay couple, John and Lenny, and then John's kids. They are on a boating trip, and they are and they're swimming and they're playing, and then all of a sudden um they get into a boating accident, and um they are desperately trying to swim back to shore, and then a reckless motor and then John and um excuse me, and then so the boat so the boat capsizes, and then um John and the children attempt to swim to shore, but John, is it John? um yeah, and then John and one of the kids end up being killed, and then um we get a time skip to 8 years later, and um we have the surviving member of the we have the surviving kid, Angela, and her cousin Ricky getting sent, or getting ready to go off to sleepaway camp, and um and and when she gets there, um she has been Angela has been living a very strange, very eccentric life with her aunt, and um so when she gets to camp, she is very, like, socially awkward, very shy, um doesn't is kind of, like, afraid, to, like, talk to people and, like, interact with people. Causes her to so this causes like a lot of people, to just, bully her, and just she pretty much becomes, like, right off the bat, she's not very popular and not very well liked at all. Um, so, um, um, so she is, and then a one of her fellow campers, a girl by the name of Meg, ends up being, like, the primary. Um, she ends up being, the one, who primarily, consistently bullies and targets Angela. So there are a lot of scenes of, of her bullying Angela, throughout the movie. So Um, and then but and but what ends up happening is um and obviously, because this is a horror movie, um a murder ends up taking place. um One of the cooks ends up getting killed. And the interesting thing about Sleepaway Camp is the movie doesn't really give any hints as to who the killer could possibly be. um the movie pretty much keeps you entirely in the dark of who the killer could be. Of who the killer could be, obviously, up until the end of the movie, which I'm not going to spoil, because if you haven't seen this movie, um, because if you haven't seen, even though this is an old movie, and um, even though this is an old movie, still, if you haven't seen this movie, the ending will the ending will shock you, no matter how old you are, or um, no matter how old you are, or whatever. I'm telling you, the ending will leave you speechless. Um, if you haven't seen it, that is. Um, so yeah, so one of the cooks ends up being killed, and obviously, the other, the other, the guys who run the camp, the camp counselors, and like the main people in charge, obviously end up finding out, that this guy was killed, and they basically try to cover it up by saying, oh, there's no reason to tell, the other campers. They'll just panic and freak out, or whatever. Let's just say, oh, he found another job elsewhere, or whatever. um However, um um but unfortunately unfortunately, throughout the movie, obviously, more murders end up um taking place, and the bodies keep piling up, um or I should say, the body count keeps piling up. And the interesting thing about this movie, though, is like I said before, um the movie very much keeps you in the dark, as far as who the killer could be. Like, whenever there's a murder taking place, literally all you see um literally all you see is a hand, pushing, um usually usually excuse me usually when there's a murder taking place, um all you literally all you see is a hand. And obviously that could be anyone's hand. So the movie doesn't, you literally have no idea, like, who this killer could be. um the kills in this movie are very, very creative, very, very inventive. I'm obviously not, I'm obviously not trying, to glorify murder. But if you're doing a horror movie, you obviously need, creative kills. It's a must for a horror movie. And this movie definitely has plenty of those. Um, the acting is, what is this, 80s? Um, okay, yeah, 83. The acting is average, I guess. Um, I guess you could say. It's not bad, but compared to, some other horror movies that um, I've seen, like the acting, it's not going to win any awards or anything like that. Um, really, where this movie shines just is in, like the tension and the suspense and um, in the build up until, that huge reveal, you know, um, at the end of the movie. Um, I wouldn't necessarily call this movie a slow burn because, like I said, there obviously are, several murders, taking place throughout this movie. However, there are times when it will kind of feel like a slow burn. Like, like I said, there are a lot of scenes in the movie of Angela, targeted and, and being bullied um, but yeah, no, it's a very, very well written, very, well written, um, uh, well made horror movie. And if you haven't seen this, and if you're looking for a good horror movie to watch this time of year, I would definitely very highly recommend this. Um, yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've seen it and what you thought of it. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.